Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 47 of Around the Kingdom, a Disney Magic Kingdoms podcast. 1, 2, 3. Hi ho.
Ho.
Hi
Ho.
ho. It's off to
It's
podcast
off
we
to
go. We can never get that in right, but hi ho. Hi ho.
Hi ho.
It's off the
It's off.
podcast we go. Yes. Coming to you from the Dwarves Diamond Mine, I am your host, Steve Squirrel, and joining me to make sure that I don't eat any apples from strangers, it's Alison Villa.
Hello.
I want to thank Alison and thank you to each and every one of you for joining us this week as we explore the wonderful world of Disney Magic Kingdoms. Before we get started, I want to thank our Patreons, Carrie Schumann, Kathy Clausen, Honeybee, Kira, Tom Higgins, Patricia Baisden, and Brianne Duke. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's a site where you can pledge a few bucks each month to help support the show. So if you're able to and want to help support the show, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/AroundTheKingdom. There are other ways you can be more involved with the show also. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We have a very active Facebook group, and it's a great way to stay in touch with me and the community of the show. We also have a Discord channel where you can chat with me and other members of the community, so come and join us there too. The links to everything will be in the show notes and can also be found on the show's main Facebook page. Well, the kingdom is always changing, so for reference, the show is being recorded Wednesday, September 18th at around 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. All right. Intros are out of the way once again. We have our anonymous chipmunk joining us, and it is time to hear what Alison has to say about her week in the kingdom. What did you do this week, Alison?
Okay, so I did a lot of leveling. So much leveling because we have a tower challenge coming up. So I wanted to make sure that since we had lots of notice of who was going to be out in this tower challenge, and since we have really been anticipating the Snow White character set getting balanced, I only had 3 characters left to fully max out in level 10.
Nice.
I finished that set. So that was really my first priority. And then I've also been leveling up after we got the whole Instagram likes thing for DMK on their page. Once we found out who all was going to be helping and stuff like that, I started leveling up more of my beauty characters. I only have 2 Nightmare Before Christmas characters, so I've been trying to level them up as much as possible. I leveled Mowgli up to 10, and then so he's ready to go along with King Louie. They're both 10, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Where's your Shere Khan at?
Shere Khan, I still haven't welcomed him into my. I've collected for him to be welcomed in, but I wasn't gonna mess with that. I don't have Tia Dalma in either. They just cost too much magic, and I just figured it would be best to level up the characters. Besides, if you bring them in now, they're gonna be such a low level that it's better to not even waste the time to.
I hear you.
But main storyline wise, I did welcome John Darling this week. And I got the quest to welcome Michael, so I'm close to the end. I'm really close. So yeah, because after him, I think I only have 2 more, right? Just Timothy Mouse and Dumbo.
Yeah, sounds like that.
Other than my side quest characters like Tiandama and
stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
And then I'm about halfway done collecting for Pascal. So about halfway there. See, I don't have Maximus. So
well, at least someone was listening to my advice, but maybe it's not the best advice anymore.
It might not be. He might be more worth it.
He might be. We might have to do a "Are they still not worth it?" segment.
Yeah, like an updated "Is it worth it?" segment on him. And I just now, like a few minutes ago, hit level 50.
Woo!
Yeah, so I actually received 1,500 magic and 2 gems.
2 gems.
2 whole gems. Yep. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my week.
What are you gonna do with those gems?
I don't know. I must spend them wisely.
Well,
they gotta buddy up. What can you even get with 2 gems? I mean,
You could skip a
I could speed
cooldown.
up.
It's a cooldown, yeah.
Yeah, I
I,
could
I,
speed up.
a lot of times I'll do like if it's the end of the night, and like someone has like an hour left, or something, like a half an hour left, like on a level, and I just want to get the next
Yeah,
one going. Like the 2 or 4 gems there, like I'll throw those around here and there.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of course, they all add up over time, but I don't know. I feel
Right.
like it's worth it. So there you go. You have
Yeah,
an hour of your time.
that's right. I get an hour of my time back.
So actually, I don't think it's an hour. I think it's a half an hour of your time.
My
So there's a
team.
half an hour of your time. It's every 15 minutes is 1 gem.
Yeah,
So speaking of 1 gem,
yeah,
I got to level 56.
yeah.
Woo! That's 1,675 magic and 1 gem. 15
Nice.
minutes of my life is gotten back. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Um, so for my main storyline, I'm still working on Pascal. But let me tell you, Maximus is putting in the work.
That's good.
Um, he, I had him exclusively getting Pascal's ears.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't working on the dresses, and I finished the ears, I think yesterday, and I
Mm-hmm.
still have a lot of dresses to go. So it just shows, like he was putting in a lot of work,
Yeah.
and every time that I'm going around and I know that he's ready to collect, I'm like, "You Maximus, you better do something." And I click on it, and the ears drop. I'm like, good boy.
You'll get a
So
carrot
you
today,
get you,
Max.
you get a carrot today. I want to hit you with a frying pan. But yeah, no. So I've been doing that, and then I've just had a huge backlog of side quests that I've been
Yeah,
working
I
on.
always do.
So like, and part of the thing too is like I'll be clicking through my characters to like do stuff, and then like their side quest will be at the top, and
Hmm.
I'm just like, all right, enough. I'm gonna do you.
Yeah,
Just gonna get this out of the way. So
yeah.
I've been doing a bunch of side quests.
Hmm.
Um, so for building upgrades, I still don't have enough tangled relics to enchant the Snuggly Duckling.
Hmm.
I want to enchant the Snuggly Duckling because I want
Right,
Pascal's stuff to be dropping, but
right.
it's so hard, when you have Mickey and Friends and Toy
Hmm.
Story and Cinderella and
Yeah,
Tangled and Wreck-It Ralph,
they all
and
conflict with each other.
you have all these, and so it's hard to collect. You only get so many a day from chests, and it's just
And you
hard.
get 20 chests a day.
Yeah, you don't
So
get many chests a day, so it's
yeah.
it's hard to get it. So I still don't have enough Tangled relics to enchant the Snuggly Duckling, but I'm looking forward to getting it soon.
Hmm.
Same thing with the princess dressing room.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that in a little bit.
Hmm.
Thanks to some good information from friend of the show Daniel Gizar.
Hmm.
But I don't have enough Wreck-It Ralph tokens. It needs 15
Yeah.
just to get to the first level, and I think I just got 2 today, so I think I'm at 9. So it's a long way off.
Hmm.
And the thing too is like you can't even like I don't think that if you bought like Wreck-It Ralph chests, I don't think the relics are specifically in there.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
you have to buy the attraction enchantment chests or whatever, and you don't have a guarantee that you're going to get the ones you want.
Right,
You want Wreck-It Ralph, you might get just all Mickey and Friends.
right.
So it's tough.
Hmm.
But so I haven't done anything with buildings. Did you get any buildings enchanted this week?
I think I did Pluto's house because I wanted it to drop the tombstones for 0.
Yeah.
Because I only have Jack and 0. And so it's actually Jack is super easy because a lot of like main storyline characters collect for him.
Yeah.
So he's been pretty easy to level up, except for he just needs a lot of tokens at this point. I think I have him at 8, almost ready for 9. He just needs so many that it just takes a while. But for 0, I want to say 0 is only at like 6, and I've just been struggling to get him to 7. I might be able to get him there tonight or maybe tomorrow morning. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen because his I enchanted the Pluto's house because it would help me drop the tombstones, and that did excellent. That was great. But I don't really have another way right now to be able to get his ear hats, and the quests are a little bit longer for those, so it just I don't know. Well, it's a crapshoot. I'm not sure what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Daniel says that he tried the attraction enchantment with 3 chests, so that's the 150 gems
Hmm.
one to get the bonus chest. He said it
Yeah.
helped a ton to collect the Wreck-It Ralph relics.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you're you or Allison and have luck opening chests, then of course you're gonna get exactly what you need. But if you're me and you open the chest, it might not even give you anything. It might just literally just punch me in the face. Like a big hand comes out. But no, seriously, I just had the worst luck with that. Okay, so leveling, like we talked about, I finished my Snow White. I finished all the dwarves. So that character set is completely maxed out.
Good.
Feels good to have that one in the books.
It's such a big one too. So
It is. It is the biggest.
Yeah.
And so with the Tower Challenge characters revealed, I've been exclusively working on them. I did get Shere Khan to 10. Woo,
Nice.
it's done.
Yay.
It is over. That magic pit is gone. I did basically all of the Nightmare Before Christmas collection, all of the Beauty and the Beast collection. Like no one has an exclamation point over their head. Everyone is leveled and is collecting that isn't at 10. And just other Tower Challenge characters that I might have needed. So
Were you able to get LeFou to 10?
no, I don't have LeFou at 10. I don't.
Yeah, I don't have him at 10.
I did start working on some of the bigger ones. Like I'm leveling the mayor now. I think he's going to 9. But he's just so many tokens. And you have to find the right time to be collecting. What I've found typically is like when you have character token conflicts, it's usually not conflicting with a legendary item. And if it is, and it's like a Coco or something, you're gonna get the Coco. You know what I mean? A common versus versus a legendary. So during the Tower Challenge is actually a really good time to utilize leveling characters that have epic and legendary drops.
Yeah.
Because you don't want those characters rolling into events to be on the safe side, because you just never know who's going to need what. But when you go into a Tower Challenge, having, you have 15 days plus the lead time into it, plus some lead time out of it. So, you have about 3 weeks. So it's a good time to really get, in my opinion, the legendary items out there. I leveled Peter Pan not too long ago. So I have a bunch of characters collecting legendary tokens. And that's okay with me. It's just because it just happens in the background. You're not thinking about it because you have other things going on. So
I agree. I think that's such a smart move because I've noticed the same thing. And actually, even if they do conflict, usually you get what you need to have. And if you don't, I almost don't care because I'm like, oh, at least I got another thing that I need. Like it's rare enough that at least it feels good that you would get a legendary token. You know what I mean? And it also helps to pass the time and make the time go by quickly because you're doing it in the background.
Yeah. So, all right. So that was my leveling. Lifetime Visitors Board. Dum da dum dum. Down to 66,888.
Nice.
That's it's moving. I'm moving along. So feels good. Allison, do you have an update on your Lifetime Visitors Board?
Just looking. It is 23,000. 23,120,000. Oh wait, I need to look at the number.
The rank.
The visitors. Okay, rank 115,637.
Good. You're coming in to break the 100,000, top 100,000. That's great.
It is.
Good stuff.
Look at me go.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, that was our Weeks in the Kingdom. Sounds like we both had a really good week. I hope everyone out there had a nice week too, and is ready to get rolling tomorrow. It's Tower Challenge Eve, so that I hope you all are ready for tomorrow. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's move on. So now it's time for the newcomer tip of the week. Allison, what have you got for us today?
Okay, so some of this is newcomer and some of this is more veteran. Whenever you're coming into the Tower Challenge, here are some good reminders for you. Number 1, if you're not new, send your characters home that are participating in the Tower Challenge. It is a great way to get them out of the way. You don't accidentally send them on long quests. This is something that I utilized last time, and it was super helpful because I never had to worry if those characters were free or not. I knew that they were because I would put them right in home as soon as they got out from battling Maleficent. Um, my second tip
Okay,
is,
so slow
yeah,
down. So if you so all your characters that have the little little thing on them saying I'm a tower challenge guy.
yep,
As soon as they're done battling the tower, you put them home.
yep,
Really?
yeah, because that way they're still going to collect a little bit of magic. And but at the same time, like, for sure that you haven't, like, you didn't accidentally send them on a quest. You know what I mean?
Sure. No,
So
I get it. You know what I do, just as a kind of like another option to think
yeah,
about. I just always send those characters that have the token up there on
yeah,
2 hour quests.
yeah. I do that sometimes. Well, what I really try to do is if I've got that character, because I always try to be leveling. If I've got that character collecting for somebody, I try to strategize when I can use them again in the tower. So if it's like a 4 hour, depending on how many people you have in each set, or character slot area, I try to schedule them in a way where, like, if they have to go on a 4 hour quest to get a token, then as soon as they come out of the tower, I send them immediately there. And I know 4 hours later they can go right back if I have a Coco available to use.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No.
and
Yeah.
if there's not very many characters for that slot.
Sure. I try to
Yeah.
always similar to that. I try to
Mhm.
always, um, if I have a character in like in each of the slots
Mhm.
for the tower challenge, if I have a character that's collecting, I like to
Yeah.
send them out first
Yeah.
because then once they're done with the tower challenge, then they're
Yeah.
done for the day, so they can go out and
Mhm.
collect.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that happens a lot too.
Mhm.
Especially if they're not a level 10 character, or
Right.
like what else I do, and newcomer tip of the week. I'm sorry I'm taking it over. It's kind of a
No,
good
it's okay.
discussion
No.
though. Um, is is that I like to pick my level 10 guy or my highest level guy, and
Yeah.
I like to just have the same guy as my 10, so
Yeah.
I know like maybe even sticking that character home isn't a bad idea. Like, so I
Yeah.
know, for example, if Maximus is my level 10 guy that's going to
Right.
be going in my challenge,
Yeah.
like I know that I can only send him on 2 hour quests for the whole tower
Right.
challenge, like for that
Right.
whole chapter. So I don't
Mhm.
do anything but that, or send them home.
Yeah.
But then, so that I don't have to worry about my other guys so much.
Right. Right.
But so there's a lot of strategy
Yeah.
that goes around how to use your characters. I mean, there's definitely send them home. That's a good
Yep.
idea. There's send them out for only 2 hours. That's a good idea.
Yep.
There's if they're collecting, send them
Mhm.
first. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yep.
so many things. People say look at this game and they think it's just tap 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 tap. But
Right.
if you really want to get ahead, there's so much to think about.
Time management, strategy. Yep, there's lots to think about. But then, like, if you are new though, and even now, I still do this now sometimes. I make a checklist. I have on my little notes section on my phone. I make a little checklist, and I put everybody who can challenge in chapter 1, for instance. I just list them all out, and then when I send them, I check them off. That way, I know who has gone and who is still, like, available to send, because then I can calculate out, like, all right, if this person needs to go out and collect on a 6 hour quest to collect a token for me, then I can be like, okay, well, that's 3 times to the tower. So I got to make sure that I've got other characters to send out,
Right.
so that, you know what I'm saying? So
I know
I also,
exactly what you're saying.
yeah, so I make a checklist also, so then I'm aware of, like, oh, well, crap, I can't send them out right now because they need to go back to the tower in 2 hours, or
Yeah.
however,
Yeah,
it
there's
works.
the thing that's like that always happens. Like, so like it will be like 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern,
Yeah.
right? So rope drops
Yeah.
at 11, right?
Right.
So I'll have a character that's in the tower that has a 4 hour quest.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll send them on that, so I know that they can't challenge at 11, but then they'll
Right.
be good to go at 1. Like,
Right.
so I'm thinking I have all in my mind, but a list is not a bad idea, because the
Yeah.
worst thing that I hate is when you click on the tower challenge, when you're ready to challenge the tower, You click on the thing, you can see everyone who's there, and you can
Right.
see everyone who's gone.
Right.
The second you hit go, you can't see who's gone.
No.
And all the time, I'm
And
like,
that drives me
who
crazy.
did I send?
It drives me crazy because then I'm like, oh crap. You can see who you just sent, but you can't see who's already like unable to send again, unless you have a bunch of cocos that you can use. You know what I mean?
Right.
But otherwise, like, you know, you want to be conservative with your cocos. You don't want to have people accidentally doing something, whether it's a long quest or, you know, you might be like, oh, well, I already sent Daisy Duck. That happened to me last time, or one of the tower challenges recently. I sent Daisy Duck. Crap, she was my only one left to send before I did the refresh for the day. I was like, ah, doggone it. Like, now I got to use my cocos on everybody else. I think it evens out, but even still, it was like, man, I could have done my daily refresh had I had her go out one time before I had sent her on that quest.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, like what you were saying earlier, this is my last part. You know, you said sometimes I just pick one level 10 character or high level character and I just keep sending them out. I do the exact same thing. I don't even mess with, if I can help it, I don't even mess with characters lower than like 6 usually, because in my mind, I'm like, why would I even bother sending them? They're wasting my 2 hours. If I've got a Coco available, I want to send out a high level character for those 2 hours because they're going to yield me more points. You know what I mean? So if I have Cocos available, I do generally send out everybody that I have, unless, like, I'm talking about like when it gets crunch time toward the end of the tower challenge and you're like, you don't have enough time unless you gem it. You know, I try and send out my highest level characters, but you don't want to be wasting your Cocos on a level 6 or a level 5
No.
or even sometimes a 7. I try and do like 8 or higher, and 8 just barely. Like, I want to be sending my Cocos out, or I want to be using my Cocos only on my level 10 characters.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. I tend to send everyone out. You know, like all you have your like tier 1 guys that go out, and your tier 2, but then eventually, like, you know, your 4th round, you know, it might be some slim pickings, right? You know, and there might be like a level 3 or whatever.
Right.
And I tend to send them out, especially toward the beginning of the tower challenge, and then like if that like I'd rather send them out than use a Coco on somebody else. And then when I have no one left in that slot, then I'll send it out. But it also depends on how much time I have in my pacing. If my time is limited and I know that I'm not going to have a lot of time, then I might want to use that Coco over a level 3 guy. But I mean, there's so many factors.
As you get into chapters 2 and 3, when you are trying to get those like concession stand prizes or those like milestone things, you know what I mean? Those rewards.
Yep.
Sometimes you just don't have the time to be able to send out. I might have a level 6 character that hasn't gone out and could go out but I have some Cocos over here that I can use on a higher level character. And so I have to sometimes think time management wise and what characters are going to yield me the most points, you know, for those types of situations.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, lots of good stuff there. You know, lots of good nuggets there. Take what you can. Everyone's got their own kind of way to do it, and it wouldn't be called a challenge if it wasn't challenging, right? So make sure that you guys, you know, if you have some ideas that we haven't talked about, you want to have some, you know, discussion, definitely bring it onto our Facebook group. Hit us up on Twitter. Both are at ATK Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know. All right. Show news this week. No show news this week. We are going to be looking to have another contest coming up probably at the beginning of October. So in just a few weeks, we'll be having another contest. Details to come. Be working that out with our awesome admin team, and we'll try to figure out something fun. So hopefully we can have you know, some winners before the next event. So even maybe end of September, we'll start the event, the contest, and we'll go into early October. So stay tuned. If you are a member of our Facebook group and our Twitter, then most likely you will find out about it. If you're not, then keep listening to the show or join us in one of those places and find out about our contests. All right, let's move on into the game news.
Yay!
All right, so a couple of things to talk about. First thing, so last week, Amy, who joined me from for the show last week, we were talking about how Disney Magic Kingdoms makes some welcoming magic costs associated to specific dates. Like, for example, we talked about Donald Duck and how his welcome cost was associated with the day, month, year that he was, again, his first appearance in a cartoon. So we were stumped, though, on what does Shere Khan's magic cost, because it's such an odd number that, like, it had to be something relevant. So she was able to dig this up. It's very interesting. Amy researched and found that it could be a possible reference to the 29th of May, 1982, which is the release date of the hit album Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. So his magic cost is $820,529. So the 82 is 1982, 05 is May, 29 is the 29th. I asked for a comment from Gameloft, and the only reply was, well, isn't that a coincidence?
Sounds like
so I think that it's a definite possibility that that's what it was there for. But there's always some cool things behind that. So if you ever notice an interesting magic cost, please make sure that you let us know. All right. What else? Brainloft is back. In case you don't know, Brainloft is Gameloft's new survey type system that they I'm sorry?
Like a feedback system.
Yeah, feedback system where they will send you surveys after different events, and they'll ask for your feedback. What did you think about the feedback? What was good? What was bad? And every time that you enter or submit your entry, you are entered into win in-game prizes. In-game prizes, or they actually had a really cool giveaway with a whole bunch of like swag. So if you are not a member of Brainloft, go ahead and get subscribed to them and make sure you're on their email list so you can do that. And you can help them and let them know, like, this event was great because you did this and this and this. This event was pretty meh. And this is why. So it's good for them to know so that they can help make future content better.
Yep.
All right. What else? So last week we were on Thursday, and we were talking a lot about the patch for Android. That was a big issue. The patch for Android was still not out. It came out Friday, the day after the last week's show recorded. So last Friday it came out, which was 3 days later than the people that iOS and Windows had, and Kindle. Due to the delay in the patch, the start of the Tower Challenge was delayed by 2 days, from Tuesday the 17th to Thursday the 19th. This was to try to, give everyone a little bit of extra time to level their characters, and make sure the Android people had enough time to level their characters and get everything as well. So the adjustments to the calendar were supposedly changed, but people still got the Tower Challenge chest yesterday for logging in. So if you logged in and got a chest and you're like, why am I getting Maleficent tokens and Coco? Then the reason is because they didn't change the reward that was supposed to come out yesterday with the Tower Challenge, which was the first chest that you could get, it's the green one, so I believe they're called magical chests. So if people were asking about it, for example, if you got a Coco or some coins and it's not appearing, Gameloft said, do not worry. Once the Tower Challenge actually begins, you will get to see those items. They'll become visible to you. So yeah, everyone got a little head start on the Tower Challenge yesterday. Today, just speaking of calendar awards, was 3 Scroll Day. Everyone loves Scroll Day, so 3 more character scrolls, which was awesome.
That was a nice boost.
So before we go on, what are your thoughts on the first time in my playing that a Tower Challenge was delayed?
Well, I thought it was fair, definitely. Um, because there was some some fear that, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? I think that it was the right decision to delay it. Especially because we compete against one another. So it has to. I felt like it had to be right. Like it had to be delayed a little bit because you wanted to make sure that it was going to work for everyone, right? So,
Yeah. So
I mean,
yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I don't think anyone was upset with them delaying the tower challenge.
no, I don't.
Everyone got extra time to level characters, so
Mm-hmm.
it is what
Yep.
it is.
Right. Exactly.
It's kind of like a snow delay at school, right?
Yep.
Like you miss a day or two at school, you just kind of pick up where you left off. There was, it was cool. It was just interesting, an interesting piece of news, but I don't think anyone was upset.
Yeah. I definitely appreciated the extra couple of days to level. That was
Sure.
nice.
All right, so speaking of the chests, there are now amber chests that are available now if you want to get a jump start on the tower challenge. They are 40 gems each or $1.99 for one of them. And they provide tokens for your characters, EC, Coco. And I believe the special chance, if you get the special chance, is a character scroll.
Yeah.
So yeah, try your luck, see what you get. Alison will probably get exactly what she wants.
Not every time.
I will get it. Will actually take away Maleficent coins from me. It will remove them, and my Cocos will go down to 0.
Negative points for you.
Yeah. All right. So one more interesting thing that we wanted to point out, and thanks to Daniel for bringing this to our attention. So Snow White, if you look at her activities that she has, one of them is called Enjoying Some Treats, and you have to reach the first enchantment for the princess dressing room to do that. And also, there is another one called Sing a Relaxing Song that requires you to reach the third enchantment for the princess dressing room to do that. So it's possible that in order for Snow White to basically interact inside of the dressing room with the other princesses, you're going to need the dressing room to get to the third enchantment level. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. Get your Wreck-It Ralph tokens.
What's your thought on that? There has not yet been a stipulation for a character to interact with a building. In order for a character to interact with a building, that has to be enchanted.
Yes.
So this would be a first, right?
Well, I mean, technically, the Finding Nemo characters, some of them could only interact
Right.
with enchantments if they were enchanted, and it just made quests shorter.
Yep, you're right. You're
So,
right. And they were token collecting quests.
yeah. So that's
It means
that
something.
yeah. So I'm curious to see if these will drop tokens as well. So yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
But I highly suggest, with your Wreck-It Ralph relics.
Yeah.
I don't see why, from looking at the spreadsheets, why any of the other Wreck-It Ralph buildings would be worth spending your relics on. Except
I
for
don't think you can yet.
No, is the dressing room the only one that you can do?
The dressing room, yeah, because I was looking up Niceland because I was just curious. I wanted to see if anything else was available to enchant, and I don't think any of the other ones, Niceland or the internet or what's the game with the shark and the flaming car.
Oh yes.
Can't remember what it's called.
Yes.
Left me. Slaughter Race.
Slaughter Race.
Yeah, I don't think you can yet.
Well, that is interesting. Because I'm collecting tokens and collecting tokens and collecting tokens.
Yeah.
So it was obvious. Hold on. So let's see. Niceland. Yep, enchantment's not available yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting. I'm collecting
Yeah.
a ton of Wi-Fi tokens. So I wonder if you're still collecting for them.
Yeah, well, I think that in order to enchant the princess dressing room, you do need the Wi-Fi token.
Right, you do, but I wonder if they're just unlocked for that one, or they're kind of unlocked for all of them, and even though you
Hmm,
can't enchant them yet. But anyway, so yeah,
could be.
there's only one place you can spend your Wreck-It Ralph tokens, so that is definitely the right place to do it.
If you get enough, go
Yes,
ahead and
if you
spend
get
them there.
enough. All right.
I have so many little Mickey heads floating around because I have just enough common tokens, but I specifically am waiting to get enough Wreck-It Ralph ones. So I've got all these little purple Mickey heads everywhere. Like,
I've had them forever. I have like 70 or 80 common,
yeah,
but I just don't know what to spend. See, I don't want to just blow them all and enchant Mickey and Friends stuff just because I
right,
can.
right.
Because when things like a princess dressing room needs to be done or something else, I want to make sure I have enough.
Yeah. You
So
want to be strategic about it.
I do. I just don't want to waste them on things I don't need them for.
Mhm.
Eventually, I would need them for zones, but
Yeah,
that's a long way off. So
yeah. That's a long play.
yeah, but all right. So that is it for the major game news up here. Anything else you want to touch on before we move into the tower challenge?
Um, I don't think so. I'm really excited for Pascal. He's so cute. I'm excited to get him in my kingdom. So, just that's just a side note, really. I just like him.
Okay. All right. So let's move on into the tower challenge. So we got information. We talked a little bit about it last week. I believe we had just gotten the day of the show. We got the characters revealed for the chapter one. So just to recap, there was an Instagram post by Disney Magic Kingdoms for likes. Once they reached a certain number of likes, I think it was 10,000 was chapter one, 15,000 in chapter two, and 20,000 for chapter three. They would reveal the characters that were going to be in the different chapters. This is a first time that they've revealed all of the characters. Normally, they just reveal the featured character. This time, they went all out and showed us all the characters for each chapter. So let's go over it chapter by chapter, Alison.
Okay.
Do you have it put up in front of you?
Yep.
Okay. Why don't you tell us who's in chapter one?
Okay, so the featured character for chapter one is Zero. And then we have the rest of the Nightmare Before Christmas cast in one of the slots. So that's Jack, Skellington, Sally, Oogie Boogie, and the mayor. Then in the next slot, we have Mickey and Friends. And those characters would include Pluto, Mickey, Pete, Minnie, Daisy, and Goofy. Then we have Monsters Inc. slot with Boo, Sully, and Celia May. And the last slot we should have Jungle Book characters, and that would be King Louie, Mowgli, and Shere Khan.
Okay, I want to point out real quick that when I made this list,
Mhm.
I didn't do it specifically in the right order that they showed them. So
Okay.
I think that Daisy might be in the Monsters Inc. slot. I think Goofy might be in the
Really?
Jungle Book slot. So like,
Mhm.
yeah, I think that if you look at them
Yeah.
in the Instagram order, they actually have them. Like, you can tell that they've bundled them together because
Right.
there's like random Mickey and Friends characters in different parts. So
Uh-huh.
don't go by this list. I was just grouping them into characters,
Yeah.
not slots.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point that out. So yeah, so it's an interesting cast of characters.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the chapter one characters here?
I think this is going to be my toughest chapter.
Wow, yeah.
Only because I only have Zero and Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas, so that's going to be a tough one. Shere Khan I haven't entered into my kingdom yet, even though he can. I figured, what's the point now? He's going to be such a low level. I don't have Boo. My Mickey and Friends is out perfect. Like, they're all level 10, so that's good. But I think this is going to be my weakest chapter. So I'm actually happy that it's the first one because usually it's easier to hit those milestone rewards.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it might still work out in my favor. So that's good.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Here's my thought. on Shere Khan for you, right?
Yeah.
What did we just talk about? When is a good time to introduce legendary characters? During tower challenges, right?
I have such a hard time wanting to spend the magic on him. He's so much.
He is. He's really expensive. But now's the time. I would wait to
Okay.
see who the collectors are for Coco,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I would pull the trigger. Even if you don't use him in the tower challenge, I think it's a
Yeah.
good time to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I think you're right.
How much magic do you have?
I have I have like 1,500,000.
Yeah, do it.
It'd be like, yeah, it'd be like, well, you're really risky with your magic. You're quite reckless.
I am
over
quite
there.
reckless in the magic. I went down to
You're
like
like, hey
15.
guys, I'm down to 4 magic.
Go big or go home, right?
Right? Yeah.
All right. Cool. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting. I mean, I think it's a cool cast. You have your Nightmare Before characters, Christmas characters, so
Yeah.
that's fine. Mickey and
Yeah.
Friends, they usually load up Chapter 1, which is great. Then Monsters Inc. characters is no surprise. Jungle Book, interesting for Chapter 1, but they
Yeah.
haven't stuck to the let's put late game people late anymore. They've kind of
Right.
tried to spread them out across chapters.
I
So
think that's more fair, really,
yeah,
because then you don't have if you're new. I think it's more fair because then you don't have like almost no chance at chapter 3. You know what I
No.
mean? Like at that point, then you at least have kind of a fair shot across the board. You know?
sure. No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I do agree that it lets you diversify. So like I remember when I first started playing, there was no way that I was going to finish chapter 3. You just
Yeah.
knew chapter 3 was not going to happen.
Right.
And now, spread out, if you have Cocos and you don't have very good Jungle Book characters, you can kind of keep sending your strong character out from Mickey and Friends or Monsters Inc. or wherever you are, and still have a
Yeah.
shot at every chapter.
Yep.
So, oh look, Kira joined. If Kira's still here, thank you. One of our Patreons, Kira joined.
Yay.
She is my sister, so she's always welcome here. Nice to see you, Kira. All right, so let's move on to chapter 2. Alison, who do we got in chapter 2?
Okay. So I lost it. Hold on. Here we go. So in chapter 2, the featured character is Mrs. Potts. And all of the Beauty and the Beast characters should be playing a role here at Battling the Tower. And then we have a lot of Toy Story characters as well. So there's Woody, Forky, Sarge, Ducky, Bo Peep, and Buzz. Then we have some Sleeping Beauty characters, which would include Aurora, Prince Philip, and Merryweather. And then we have random Jack Skellington somewhere in here again. And then we have Wally and Eve as well.
Wally and Eve making their appearance. They love They love the tower challenges.
Yep, they do.
They do. They're very, very valuable, and they're usually in a small slot too, with just like the two of them and one other person.
Mm-hmm.
So those are always really good characters. If you're looking for someone to get to 10, Wally and Eve are definitely that, and Eve definitely gets the is it worth it.
Yeah.
Or actually, Wally is the is it worth it. Eve is the one you get for free.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that true? I couldn't remember. I got the premium one so long ago. I couldn't remember.
Wally is premium, and
Eve is not.
And Wally's house is a premium attraction as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you look at the order that I put the Toy Story characters in, like Woody, Forky, Sarge, Ducky, it's like you can see like they're out of order. So like I think that like like Ducky, and then Bo Peep and Buzz might be used in like different in different parts here. So again, these aren't slots specifically. So what do you think about this cast of characters here?
I think it's pretty well balanced. When I look at these, my Beauty and the Beast are all pretty decent. Ducky threw me a little bit. It shouldn't have thrown me. We've now had him for a while. I just kind of was putting him on the back burner, so I leveled him up a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a pretty balanced chapter, though. Really.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck Jack Skellington is doing in all 3 chapters. That's just seems random, but
I think that there's going to be a Nightmare Before Christmas kind of storyline.
oh, do you think so?
Well, it's after seeing Jack in all 3 chapters, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I feel like,
Yeah.
that, a lot of times there's a storyline that goes along, like a secondary story that goes along with
Yeah.
a tower challenge that lets you
Yep.
earn additional cocoa, additional
Yep.
EC. So I think Jack staying in the
Yeah.
tower challenge there's going to be some sort of reason for that, some sort of
Well, I'm
story
hoping
or.
that they come out with some bundles for that storyline right away.
You know
So
what else?
wait.
Do you remember a while back? I think it was around Halloween. The tower challenge they had was a villains tower
Yes, that was
challenge,
my first one. It was so cool.
and
Oh,
and they had the cast of characters interacting with
yeah,
each other.
yeah, that was.
So I wonder if Jack
Mhm.
kind of has a storyline where he's going to be interacting with other characters from different collections.
I'm 1000% on board with that.
Yeah, I think it would
If
be
you
cool.
also remember, there were some very special villain only chests as well.
Yes.
And had I realized how obsessed with this game I was going to be, I would have bought way more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's cool. That's how I got the Queen of Hearts.
I got someone really good from a villain chest too.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'll always have love for Mrs. Potts, which I'm glad she's a featured character because
Yeah.
at the beginning of the Beauty of some Beauty and the Beast tower challenge when I was early playing,
Mm-hmm.
they gave you a Beauty and the Beast legendary chest.
Yeah.
It's to start off the chapter or whatever, and I got Miss Potts, which is a legendary.
Nice.
Or was at the time they've rebalanced things, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't get legendary stuff very often, so
Right.
I can remember. That's how I can remember
Yeah.
the one time that happened to me. All right, moving on. Chapter 3.
You're totally not bitter, Steven.
Chapter 3. Who do we got, Allison?
Okay, so our featured character for chapter 3 is Dopey. And then we have a lot of the Snow White characters making their appearance in chapter 3 as well. So we've got Sneezy, Sleepy, Bashful, Grumpy, Happy, and the Queen. Then we have some Cinderella characters as well. Fairy Godmother, Cinderella, Anastasia, Lady Tremaine. She is a superhero when it comes to tower challenges. Drizella, and I think I'm the one who put these together, and I'm pretty sure that they were putting Cogsworth in with this set, but he might have started the Pirates of the Caribbean set. I'm not sure, based on the way that they were doing the scrolling through the characters when they were giving us the reveal. Then there are some Pirates of the Caribbean characters: Tia Dalma, Will Turner, and Jack Sparrow. Then we have some Tangled characters: Rapunzel, Maximus, and then also Jack Skellington.
So
yeah.
here's so Cogsworth is being used in another chapter as well.
Yes.
So again, another reason to think maybe there's going to be some sort of crossover.
Yeah, that might be. I loved that though. I thought that was so clever and fun when they did that last time. So, yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah.
I'm buying in if that's
Cool.
the case.
And I think it's a good chapter. I mean, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs we knew was coming. That was no surprise.
Yep.
And if you've been listening to the show and actually take my advice, which I don't know why anyone would, but if you actually listen to me and take my advice, you would have your Snow White characters at least at very high levels, if not maxed out, because we all knew that the balance was coming. Cinderella characters, all pretty early game, so that's good.
Yes.
Um,
I've decided fully. My next premium character must be Lady Tremaine. This woman has been in every tower challenge since she came out.
It's funny because I had a debate a few weeks ago.
I know.
Is Lady Tremaine the worst character in the game?
No, she's almost as valuable as like Wally.
Yeah.
In a time.
She's
been featured I think in every single one since they debuted her.
Yeah. Yep. I think so too.
Uh-huh.
And Maximus.
And she's a cheaper one. Why don't I have her yet?
Maximus is in here. Yeah, Lady Tremaine's really cheap.
She's like $7.99. What am I waiting for?
Well, she's only like 200 gems though. It's even
I
better.
think it's 3. But she comes with gems, and I like the gem bundles.
Yeah, I do too. I did.
I know. Why are they not doing those anymore?
All right. Well, Maximus putting in some work. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right. So, Coco collectors. Why don't you talk about that? We don't know who the Coco collectors are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any predictions?
So, I want to say it was Elliot. I feel like it was Elliot on the group page. And I'm pretty sure somebody asked, and I think he said possibly Doc as one, because he's not featured. And neither is Snow White, though she may have a role at some other point, because I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know. So maybe Doc. Tinkerbell. She's usually a Coco collector. Maybe Jessie again. Because none of them are featured on here. So could be some of those. Refresh me. So recently we've been having they at one point semi-recently did some premium characters as the Coco collectors.
Correct.
But then also with the last one, they made the premium the featured character, and these ones are. So we've got Dopey, Mrs. Potts, and Zero, and all 3 of those, I believe, were premium characters. So those are the featured characters for each chapter.
Yep.
So
I don't know. You just don't know, because I mean, if you think about the Halloween Tower Challenge, it was everyone who had a Halloween costume, and they trick or treated, and they got Coco, right? Yep. So there's no kind of standard. I mean, the one thing that was obvious is that when there was a premium character you could buy alongside, so like for the Sultan, for example, and I'm drawing a blank, but as an example, the Sultan, that was like a 2-hour Coco collect. Yes. And then there was like 2 4s and like a 6-hour Coco collect. So they were long, but they were kind of normal, easy characters, like regular like Toy Story kind of characters. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I kind of expect the same thing. I expect maybe 4 Coco collectors, but
who do you think? Do you have any guesses for who you think might be?
No, I'm totally clueless.
They've also used Fairy Godmother, but she's in this. She's in chapter 3.
They wouldn't have a Coco collector that was also a character, so it's hard to say. I didn't kind of combine them all and see who was missing. So we'll just have to wait and see. I have unfortunately too many conflicts. Every time I go to a tower challenge, I always have conflicts, and like I always try to think to myself, okay, let's ease up, and I never do, and I've just been sending people out.
I've been quite reckless with my leveling, especially because we don't know who's going to collect the Cocos either.
So anyway,
we'll see.
If you have any suggestions, or not suggestions, if you have any ideas, we'd love to hear it. Who do you think's collecting Coco? Put your thoughts in the comments on Facebook, or tweet at us at ATK Podcast. #Coco.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. The event of the week. Well, actually, before we get to that, any other final thoughts on the Tower Challenge?
I don't think so. I'm ready for it. We'll see if I'm ready. I think I'm ready for it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. We'll see. I think it'll be really cool if we have some crossover. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing what the little twist is.
I hope so.
The last event that we had, the Finding Nemo event, was pretty meh. So I'm hoping that this Tower Challenge isn't meh. I hope there's some cool stuff that comes out of it. So we'll see. All right. There's no event this week. Last week we had the Haunted Mansion event. No event this week. And the upcoming events of the week for the next 2 weeks will be the leaderboard for each individual chapter that will reward you with EC and Coco. So you'll definitely want to be high on your leaderboard so you get more cocoa and more
The
of.
horn stand.
Oh, yes, and of course the Maleficent Horn Stand. That's super important now
Yep,
because, um,
it's awesome.
it,
First,
well, it's awesome, but also, and I'm trying to see the exact numbers here. So let me pull this up here real quick. I know where it is because I just put them down in here. At least I thought I did. One second. Yeah. So the Maleficent Horn Stand is a 5-star attraction. It's a hat stand. It has only a 4-hour collect time, and which is great. And um, yeah, hat stands are hard to come by, and you get a ton of dust if you blow it up. So they're very valuable. Concession stands became much more valuable
yes.
more recently. So yeah, so Maleficent Horn stands, Coco, and EC, and then of course it changes from EC to Gems in the last chapter. But anyway, those are the events of the week coming up. So it starts soon. All right, time for the Disney Dad Joke of the Week. This
Yay.
this was a segment that was suggested by Alison. So
Best segment.
that's why it's here. All right. Why would Snow White make a good judge?
Why, Steven?
Because she's the fairest one of all.
Yay! That's a great one. I love that one.
Yes, I try to make sure that the dad joke is fitting with the theme of the week, and I really like that one. Groan. All right. Elliot thinks maybe Tinkerbell's a cocoa collector. Yeah, that's a good. She used to be a cocoa collector, I believe.
Yep.
All right. So we talked for the past few weeks. We had a segment that was called "Safe to Store." And Safe to Store was there because we were very, very short on land. And we needed to try to figure out, especially with the thrill zones, what are some items that were safe to store to put away that, weren't really necessary while we had this situation of severe lack of land and whatnot. Well, we've talked about quite a few of those attractions. We talked about things like the Animation Academy, the Princess Dressing Room, which now I will take back, the Hollywood Tower of Terror, Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress, Omnidroid City, and we talked a bit about them and why they would be safe to store. But now with the amount of land that we got from the Space Mountain Zone revamp, it was a lot of land, so people are able to put out a lot more stuff. So I think we're gonna can this segment for now, and we'll put it on the back burner, and we will get back to the other segment, which everyone loves, which is
it worth it?
Is It Worth It? Is a segment where we talk about gem characters and attractions. This week, I'm inspired by the Around the Kingdom Disney Magic Kingdoms podcast group admin chat. There was a lot of chat about, is Forky worth it? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So Forky is 500 gems, which is definitely on the high side of the gems, as far as comparing to other premium characters. You can buy a Forky bundle. It is $9.99 for Forky, plus it gets you enough tokens to get him to level 3. The token bonus to get him to level 3 was important back when Forky and Bunny and Ducky were released, because that was when he could start collecting for them. But becomes less important so now that it's kind of later on and they're just kind of regular content. Like you said, I would much rather have bundles where they had gems like the old school bundles, which were usually $9.99 and you got like 100 or 120 gems or something of that nature. I really miss those. I hope that they would come back with those.
Yeah.
So Forky is a premium character released with the Toy Story update on the 21st of May, 2019. He's part of the Toy Story character collection, Forky is a character from the Disney Pixar film Toy Story 4. He's a made-up toy created by Bonnie. Although he is one, he declares that he is not a toy. Okay, so let's talk about what Forky does. Forky drops a lot of things. He has, of course, a chance to drop the common ball tokens. He also collects woody ears, bo peep ears, ducky ears, bunny ears, forky ears, bullseye saddles, Mowgli baskets, and ham ears. That is a lot of different things that Forky can collect. It's all Toy Story related, which makes sense. And like all premium...
Except for Mowgli baskets. That was...
Oh, except for Mowgli. That's true. Except for Mowgli. And like all premium characters, he collects faster than other characters that would collect these tokens. So he's going to be a fast collector. And that's pretty much the lowdown on everyone's favorite spork. So Allison, do you have Forky?
I don't. I feel like the bundle prohibits me from wanting to get him, as well as where I am at in the storyline. All of those characters that he collects for, I have maxed out except for Ducky and Bunny. And I don't seem to be having a hard time. I haven't welcomed Bunny in. Again, magic, 600,000. That's a lot. So I haven't welcomed him in yet, but I don't seem to be having a very difficult time collecting for Ducky's ears. So I just don't like this bundle. I would prefer that they reconfigure it and add some gems. If that's the case, like, I don't need the tokens to get him to level 3. I do, however, think that if you are just starting out, this is probably a really good bundle. He collects for so many characters. I just think at my point in the storyline, it's not worth it. But I do think that he would be worth it if you were just kind of starting out on the Toy Story line.
Yeah, I agree. And the bundles without gems definitely are not as attractive. As a new player, when I was going through and I was buying bundles, one of the things that really attracted me to those bundles was that they came with gems. Because you're newer in the game, gems can help get you things. And I don't know.
I like to get bundles with gems because then I like to turn around and use those gems
to get more content.
Legendary chests that come out, so I can get content that I've missed out on.
Yeah. No, I agree. They started doing this a little while ago, and it's not my favorite change that they've made to the game.
Yeah.
So, for me, I spent, I believe I spent the 500 gems on him. I had a lot at the time, and at this point in the game where I'm at, I don't really spend gems on a lot of things. Right. So I kind of just save them up for characters or little speed ups here and there. Or when I mess up and, send a character out right before.
A major event.
Yeah, a major event. But at least I have scrolls now.
Now I have scrolls.
Now I have scrolls. But, so I bought him. He definitely was a giant help with collecting for Ducky and Bunny. He's not my favorite character. I mean, I've always made that very clear. I've watched the new Toy Story movie, and he's just very meh to me. But he puts in the work. And I agree with you. If it's early in the game and you still don't have a lot of those characters maxed out, then he's really good. He's much more valuable.
Oh, he's extremely valuable if you don't have a lot of these Toy Story characters maxed out. Yeah.
All right, so Forky, is it worth it? My answer, for the first time, I don't know.
Yeah, it depends, I think.
It depends.
Yeah, it depends on where you're at.
All right, so now we're going to do speed round. You ready, Allison?
Oh, okay.
Speed round, okay. Forky or Maximus?
Maximus.
Forky or Lady Tremaine?
Lady Tremaine, hands down.
Forky or Merryweather?
Forky.
Forky or Boo?
Forky.
Forky or Pluto?
Pluto.
Forky or Rex? You still
Probably.
don't. You don't have Rex, do you?
I don't. I
Yeah.
haven't needed him. I do like him. He's adorable.
He's
But
so
yeah.
good. He was
Yeah.
so good. Well, he was so
Yeah,
many.
but okay, but think about it. So if that happens, if I don't know when Forky gets put up as a bundle in comparison to Rex when you first start playing now, because obviously that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
We're already
Rex is really early.
So, but what do you get then? Do you get Forky or Rex if you're new?
You get Rex, absolutely.
You think so?
Rex puts in
he-
so much work at the beginning. He
Yeah,
collects
but
he collects for like everything, and then he was also, I mean, he's changed now because he doesn't collect trophies, but he was a trophy collector too.
so does he collect for the same characters that Forky collects for now?
That's a good question. Let's look it up because
This is important.
this is important stuff. So Rex,
Rex is cheaper, I think.
Rex
Or they the same?
he's cheaper. Okay, so Rex collects for. He collects Buzz tokens. He collects ham hats. Hold on, I lost my page. He collects ham hats. He collects Sarge buckets. He collects his own ears. He collects Sword in the Stone book tokens for Merlin. He collects Mike ears, Prince Charming ears, Fairy Godmother ears, Tinkerbell ears, Scrooge McDuck piggy banks, Blaster tokens for Zurg and Zurg ears, and Forky ears.
Wow, he puts in.
And
Sure.
and he grants wishes.
Okay, so he takes the edge of Forky for sure.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah, because he doesn't only collect for his own set, but they are really complementary to one another.
They are. Well, they're both Toy Story.
Right. But whatever, it's almost like whatever Rex doesn't collect for, Forky does.
Okay. But okay, Forky or the Ringmaster.
I don't know, not there yet. Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe Ringmaster.
I say Forky because I don't even have the Ringmaster. So I think he's pretty terrible. What is okay? While we're here and we're completely off the rails here, and we're just going rogue on the game, let's search for the Ringmaster, and see what is the Ringmaster drop, because you never hear people talk about the Ringmaster.
He only drops stuff for the Dumbo set.
He
And
drops.
there's only 2 characters in that.
Oh, he also drops Shere Khan, a Shere Khan thing, red fire stick token, but that's it. Dumbo stuff and then Shere Khan.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me.
No, it doesn't.
Because I don't even have the option of buying him yet.
Yeah, Ringmaster's terrible. Okay. He might be the worst character in the game.
Expensive. He's expensive, isn't he? Isn't he 500 gems too?
Yeah, 500.
So
Okay.
Forky. Sure. Forky.
Yeah. All right, well, I might have to buy the Ringmaster just to see how terrible he is. He might be the worst character in the game.
Just out of curiosity.
Maximus is prancing around. Okay.
He's redeeming himself.
He is. All right.
They heard your complaints and they were like, "All right, Steven."
Well, thank you, Disney Magic Kingdoms. I appreciate that. All right. Here we go. You ready, Allison?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. Feature report.
Report.
Feature report. Feature report.
I feel like that was the closest it's ever been.
We try. It's delay. Well, you can't help it. We'll have to record it and then use that as a bumper.
Yes.
Okay. Feature report is a segment where we talk about ideas or features we'd like to see implemented in the game. We have quite a few this week, so let's get through them. From Blysium, she says, I send my character home when I want to level them, so I do not accidentally send them on quests. We kind of talked about that earlier. And I said, man, do I do this all the time. It would be great to level them up directly with the option of a level up button while they're at home, instead of having to hit the return, scrolling up to the character group again, and then leveling. I agree.
Yeah.
I think that would be nice. You know, there's the little thing in the bottom right corner that you have to return, and then you have to go back into the character book and scroll through and then hit level again. It'd be nice if you didn't have to go through all those steps. Like if there was just a, like, you know, like a button that, like, if the character was ready to level, You could just hit the button and level the character.
Yeah. Or at least if it would just take you to their spot in the character.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, I like it. There's not much to talk about except to say I like it.
Yep.
Okay, from Star Master. Star Master has a very interesting idea. He says it would be great if there was a chest that gave you all the tokens needed to level a character all the way to 10. But it would cost heaps of gems. As soon as a character reaches level 10, they're pulled out of the rewards. The lower the level, the more common they are, and the higher the level, the rarer they are, because you don't need as many tokens, so it just makes it fair. So do you catch his drift there, Alison?
Okay, so they're pulled out of the rewards. Where?
So what it is it's a chest. It costs, let's just make up a number, 5,000 gems.
Okay. Ridiculous amount. Mm-hmm.
And you spend the 5,000 gems, and you open up a chest, and this chest has every character in it that you don't have maxed to 10.
Okay.
And then you click on the chest, and whoever you get gets maxed to 10. But
okay.
But then obviously what he's saying is that if you have characters level 10, they're not going to be in that chest.
Right.
And
right.
so what he's saying,
a separate chest.
Right. And so what he's saying is that if you already so if you have a character that's like level 2, they're going to be more common to get than someone who's at level 9, because you want to be able to get characters that are at lower levels because you're spending a ton of gems.
Right.
But you'd still have the possibility of getting someone that's at level 9 and you've just spent 5,000 gems to get them one level.
Yeah, that would be tough.
So
no, you do need a lot of tokens for it, but yeah, usually
right.
to level 10.
So what is your thought on this level 10 chest?
It's definitely an interesting concept. I don't know how feasible or popular it would be. I try to be so careful with the way that I spend my gems, because I don't know that I would risk it on something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting. But yeah, because think about how many characters you might have close to, and you only need 2 tokens.
Yeah, it's definitely a game of Russian roulette with your gems.
Yeah, for sure.
That I don't like. And if you think about it, if you want to say it costs heaps of gems, right? Like let's say 5,000 gems or whatever, right? You can just level a character. Like you don't need to collect for them. Like you could choose the specific character you want, and you can just click on level up, and it will say you need.
Yeah, that's true. Or you can buy the missing tokens.
Right. It would say you need 300. You have to spend 400 gems to get the missing tokens you need for this character to get them to the next level.
Yeah.
So that's you'd be able to focus on the character you want, without playing roulette with your characters. I think it's a cool concept, and it wouldn't hurt to have it in the game. But I think there's other ways about going about it.
I mean, if this wanted to be put toward building enchantments, maybe that would be worth it, because
to get a building all the way to 5.
Only because they're so hard to collect for.
Yeah, that's interesting, to make a building and get the building all the way maxed out.
Yep.
That I like that idea.
That could be cool.
Because you can't gem those out.
Right.
You have to buy things. You know what else would be cool? Like to have this chest in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're going around collect, you know how like you go around and you collect your chests, and like some chests are rarer than others. Like the attraction enchantment chests are harder to find than just the bronze chests. Like have one of these chests and have the probability of getting it like 1/10 of like or like 1/100th of 1%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like getting one of these is like
Christmas Day in your kingdom.
Yeah, Christmas Day, or exactly, so it's so ridiculously rare to find, but they do pop up from time to time.
Sure.
So that would be kind of a cool idea too.
Yeah,
we had talked before about that, and like making legendary chests like that. Like whatever legendary chest is currently available in the shop, make it a really super rare chance to find it in the kingdom.
I really was hoping they were going to do that with that big update that they did.
Yeah, the chest overhaul. I think it would be great. There's nothing but good things that could come from that. So I think that would be a good idea. But anyway, thank you, Star Master, for your idea. All right, from Elliot. Elliot says, make more characters speak. Maybe you'd be able to get voice packs that have characters read the dialogues to you.
That's cool.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. If you like characters reading to you, you can watch Disney Girl. Disney Girl does a really great job of doing character voices and impressions. She reads all the dialogues for all the stuff. But no, I agree. I would love to have some Disney people who do the voices. Like, it would be really cool. I mean, I know it's a stretch, but to have people who do the actual voices of the characters, like, do the voices in the game, or at least make us think it. Yeah, I think it would be really cool. I mean, I don't think that they should charge for voice packs. I think that would stink. But I feel like, like one of the things that they want to do, and I've talked about this many times, is developers want to keep the game size down, because they don't want you to be you don't want to feel bloated on your phone whenever you're downloading an update. They don't want it to feel bad. But I feel like you should have the option, like Hearthstone, you have the option to download optional content, which is basically makes all the golden character cards have animation to them.
Oh, okay.
So this would be cool if you had the option to like download the voice packs, and like you can only do it on Wi-Fi. And yeah, I mean, I'd love it. I think it would really, really add to the game. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I love it.
It really is a bummer that once you get out of the first couple of character sets, like in the very beginning, like your characters don't talk anymore. Like, I'll still hear Buzz talking. I might still hear Jesse and Woody talking a little bit, but that's kind of it. Like, they don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a couple of them that just say a few phrases, and I don't know. It's kind of crappy.
Yeah. So yeah, I love it. For me, I'm going back to this, and I always seem to harp on this. So this feature reports to me, which is I always skip the beginning of quest dialogue.
Yeah.
Maybe a prompt when you click on a character with dialogue that says, like, are you ready for the dialogue to begin? I know that we've talked about it, and I know that technically if you skip some dialogue, you could close out your game, reopen it, and then it would start the dialogue over, but I don't want to do that. I want to be able to just, like, if I'm doing a bunch of side quests, like, because a lot of times I won't do a side quest because I'll know that I don't have time to read something.
Yeah.
You know? Or, like, so, like, I'd like to say, like, are you ready to complete this quest and read the dialogue? And, like, this way you're not accidentally just tapping through stuff. I just think that would be another idea for how to handle that.
I do that so often, and I fully agree. I really like this idea because I always miss the first page. I'm too busy tapping away, and I miss it almost every time.
Or
and I get irritated.
You know what you could do? Here's another idea.
A back button.
Change the icon. Well, yeah, a back button, great. Change the icon so that when a quest is
like a blue check.
Like a blue check mark, or like how they like they have like the castle, they added the little castle thing next to quests and little like the different type of thing for side quests, like have that over it, so that you can visually see as you're tapping through stuff that you have one of those quests completed. That's the solution. Disney Magic Kingdoms, that's it. Change the check mark, put a different icon there.
I miss half the time I'm like, all right, I'm just going to fill this storyline in with my brain. Because I don't know what the heck the first page said.
Change the check mark. That's it. That's it. New hashtag. Change the check mark on Twitter. Or wherever. That's what I think it should be.
I like it. It's a good idea.
All right. Let's see how we're doing on time. We're good. Let's finish this up. Another one from Elliot. So Elliot's double dipping today. He says, when a character's maxed out, have the go to home button at the bottom. Yes, I agree. have that go back to the bottom. I believe it was actually, it's my understanding that that was requested to go back up to the top. I believe it was at the bottom
Yeah,
at one point,
I think you're right.
and it was requested to go to the top. I think it's terrible at the top because you don't have the top 3 quests, and if you want your characters out in the kingdom, there you go. If you want your characters back down in the kingdom, then scroll down and put them away. That's what I think. So I like it, Elliot. All right. So around the community, we have a bunch of things on hold. I'm going to try to see if we can get some of these segments in there. MP McClure from the clan McClure has a suggested theme for Paw Patrol where we have lookout predictions. Maybe we'll try to get that going next week if I find some time to get that going. MP McClure, if you're listening or watching or whatever, why don't you send me a private message and we can talk about getting that into the show. All right. Nothing else really going on around the kingdom. No new 5-star ratings for the show. No new reviews. So please make sure you get those in. It really helps us out. Alison, you got any shout outs?
My son Eli, he's so pumped. He just got a new Kindle Fire, so the game is working way better for him. So he's pretty pumped, and it was his birthday, so he got some gift cards to use for this upcoming Tower Challenge. So I know he's going to be thrilled. So shout out to little Eli boy.
What's up, Eli?
Yeah. So he's my little shout out today.
All right. Well, I'm going to give big shout outs to the audience, as always. Elliot, Stacy, Daniel, David, Sabrina, Joe G, Sandy, Matt, everyone else that's here, Darlene, Lanita. So, yes, thank you all for joining us and watching the show. And anyone else who watched the show, that's my shout out. Next week's show, a Geeky Chick returns. We'll talk about the Tower Challenge Chapter 1. We'll wrap that up, and we'll talk about the beginning of Chapter 2. So look forward to having her back here next week. If you want to be more involved with the show, you can follow us on Twitter at ATK Podcast and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/ATK Podcast. Here you'll find out before anyone else, about any breaking news that we hear, information on contests and giveaways. Hint, hint, we're having a giveaway soon or a contest. When new shows are published, and of course my ramblings and photos from my day-to-day playing. The show's Facebook group is up, and it's a great way to easily interact with me and the other fans of the show to talk about our favorite game. The link to the group will be in our show notes and can also be found on our show's main Facebook page. Also, you can write into the show. Our email address is aroundthekingdompodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's aroundthekingdompodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the show, what's working, what's terrible, or any other topic you want to write in about. Or even write in if you just want to say hi. We do have a YouTube page if you want to watch the show and see me and my awesome guests. Over there. Then go to our channel, subscribe, like the video, and smash the bell to get notified when a new show goes live. The link to our channel will be in the show notes. Also, we have a Discord channel if you want to just chat and you like chatting and being chatty. Join our Discord channel. Star Master's there, I promise you. If you want to help support the show, please head over to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. Doing this is quick and easy, costs you nothing, but helps us greatly to be seen by other people so they can enjoy the show also. All 5-star reviews will be read at the end of every episode. Listening to the show is all we could really ask for, but if you do want to help support the show in another way, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. We have a goal of getting 2 more Patreons to the show. Once we have 2 more new Patreons, we will have a bonus episode that the Patreons can participate in. So, you can help make that happen and you can be part of our show. So, it's a great way to help us and support the show for about $1 an episode. All Patreons get a special shout out at the beginning of every episode. So again, it's patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. The link is in the show notes. Thanks again for joining us this week. Get ready to storm the tower. I wish you all good luck. Lots of EC and Coco galore. I'm Steve Squirrel.
Handstands.
I'm sorry?
Maleficent handstand.
Maleficent hat stands. Coco Galore. Doesn't that sound like someone's name? Like that could be like an actress, Coco Galore. Anyway, if you're out there, Coco Galore, I hope that you have a good time with this tower challenge too. For myself and Allison, we hope you have a great night, and we will see you around the kingdom next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Coco.